Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
A sick-out by teachers in Bermuda forces the closure of government schools. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, December 10. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Bermuda's Education Commissioner Calma Richards has called on the teachers' union to stop industrial action after a mass sick-out by teachers closed government schools across the island on Monday. He urged the Bermuda Union of Teachers, the BUT, to ask members to return to their respective schools on Tuesday. Now, according to Richards, a new standards-based grading system had been the main concern raised by the union in recent months. And Education Minister Diallo Rabin announced last Friday that teachers would be provided with instructions next month on the new pupil grading system. But BUT says there is a list of 23 matters it wants addressed.
Firstly, we demand a retraction of the use of standards-based grading until there is proof with supporting data that the infrastructure is in place for its implementation and that all teachers are properly trained and have mastered its use. Secondly, further issues concerning the BUT are physical plant, working technology, increase bandwidth, and under that working technology, one working computer for every classroom, increased bandwidth, access to Wi-Fi for all staff, working overhead projectors, smart boards, etc. All schools should have working computers at all times.
The Bahamas government says it will soon implement the Freedom of Information Act. But Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says he does not want to give a date for implementation as yet because the government will be held to it and it is an ongoing process. He told reporters it is not something that will happen overnight.
That's an ongoing process. We should hopefully very soon, I don't want to give a date because you'd hold me to that, hopefully very soon the commissioner, we're looking for individuals to fit that role. So we would get the commissioner first, and but it's an ongoing process. It don't happen. It's not something that's just going to happen like that overnight and you have access to this and that. There are a lot of agencies and different areas that has to be put in place.
Last week, Finance Minister Peter Turnquest said the government intends to borrow $30 million from the Inter-American Development Bank to strengthen its digital infrastructure and support the rollout of the act. And earlier this year, Attorney General Carl Bethel said the government expects to fully enact the legislation within the next budget year. The act was passed by the former government in 2017. It aims to reinforce and give further effect to certain fundamental principles underlying the system of constitutional democracy, namely government accountability, transparency, and public participation in national decision-making. Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his government will move to recover funds that were misused at the state-owned oil company Petrojam. His announcement comes on the heels of a damning report by the Auditor General that was tabled in Parliament earlier this month. The report catalogued a series of lavish parties and unapproved sponsorships, as well as glaring human resource breaches costing millions of dollars. The Auditor General also warned that bad management practices, if left unresolved, would increase the risk of corruption and further erode Petrojam's profitability, which has declined over the last 3 years. Holness says where it is clear that in the report that public funds were misused, he would direct the board to take the necessary civil actions to recover those funds.
In the when issues such as these have been brought to public attention, reports have been tabled. But we have seldom sought to make restitution. Coming out of this exercise, Jamaica can only benefit. Our system of governance can only grow stronger if we establish that there has to be a principle of restitution. If public agents cause funds to be used inappropriately, illegally, then those who benefited and those who caused the government to lose must make restitution. So I'm happy to see that Minister Wheatley has embraced that principle and has said that he will seek to ensure that the public purse is restored. I think that principle should go to the fullest in that regard.
The Prime Minister stressed that the report of the Auditor General is only one process of accountability, and the Integrity Commission is also conducting its own probe into the matter.
Don't know anything about the investigation other than there is an investigation. I'm of the view that they would be focusing on matters that are criminal in nature. But I'm saying over and above that, that where the board sees that, for example, payments were made for work on a contract, and by virtue of delays and changes, the contract is terminated, but full payment was made and work not completed. The board should seek legal advice and prepare to recover such funds through civil means. That is a directive given to the board. That is part of the principle of restitution that will ensure that there is accountability.
6 opposition legislators in Haiti are demanding an apology from the Speaker of the Senate, Joseph Lambert, over allegations he made linking to an opposition senator to the escape of gang leader Arnel Joseph during a police operation. Police have announced a $2 million Gordy ransom for the capture of Joseph, the country's most wanted gang leader, following the unsuccessful raids on November 3rd. Now, during a special session with the Superior Council of the National Police last week, Lambert reportedly questioned whether Deputy Printemps Belize had assisted Joseph in escaping during the raid in the village in Dedew. But in a strongly worded letter to Lambert on December 6th, 6 opposition legislators accused the Speaker of being irresponsible. They also said Lambert's statements were aimed at discrediting opposition deputies in general and Printemps in particular. And still to come in Caribbean Newsline, an opposition parliamentarian in Trinidad under fire for giving out the Prime Minister's phone number on social media. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
I won't leave you alone. reach me free complete. Can't have a lane of me toss and sleep. Me couldn't wait to jump in the street. 365 every dog in the heat.
Trinidad and Tobago opposition member Devant Maharaj is being condemned for giving out Prime Minister Keith Rowley's phone number on Twitter. He had also shared National Security Minister Stuart Young's mobile number via social media. Maharaj said his reason for sharing Rowley's number was to address the government's undemocratic behavior. In a press statement, Minister Young said Maharaj had once again engaged in irresponsible, deplorable and destructive behavior designed to destabilize the good governance of the Twin Island Republic. Maharaj's action is now under a police investigation. Attorney General Faris Alwari didn't give details of the legal ramifications the former opposition parliamentarian could face, but did say his actions could have serious consequences. We get more in this TV6 News report.
Former UNC Minister Devant Maharaj has yet again landed himself in some hot water, already facing a backlash from the government for sharing the Prime Minister's personal cell phone number on social media. Maharaj, in another social media post, shared a National Security Minister Stuart Young's personal cell phone number. He said he did it to address the government's undemocratic behavior. Maharaj said his actions were in response to accusations of sedition for sharing Dr. Rowley's number. His post read, "Call Stuart. Prime Minister Rowley has opted to be disconnected from the sufferings of the average citizen, caused directly by the mismanagement of the economy by the termination of his cellular telephone." Government officials, including the Prime Minister himself, condemned the recent behavior of Maharaj. The Prime Minister has since changed his phone number and stated that he has solicited the help of Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith. Commenting on the issue today was Attorney General Faris Alwari, who says that the issue is not a matter of privacy, but one of interrupting the state's business.
It's a very large issue for a Prime Minister to have to change his number. It's not for an issue of privacy. It's for an issue of inundation of the wrong thing. It's equivalent to a form of a sabotage, if you look at it, depending upon what comes in, because you're intruding upon the lawful business. Listen, the Prime Minister is the chairman of the National Security Council. The Prime Minister has a need to have immediate calls answered. If you were to block that up with tens of thousands of mischievous calls, you're frustrating the people's business.
Noting that the Prime Minister is head of the National Security Council, Al-Rawi says that the agitation behind the publication of Dr. Rowley's phone number has serious consequences.
The UNC having been caught with its pants down on the wrong end of every equation, no to anti-gang law, no to fighting crime, no to appointing this commission of police, no to transparency of income tax information. When faced on the wrong side of the equation, their latest attempt is to prank call and threaten the Prime Minister, and that is a problem.
People's National Movement's Women's League chairperson Camille Robinson-Regis has called on opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar to condemn her former cabinet member. However, Robinson-Regis said if the action was instructed by the opposition leader, then Persad-Bissessar must take responsibility for Maharaj's reckless actions. As such, the League is calling for an immediate apology and a public interdiction of Mr. Maharaj.
Staying in Port of Spain, a magistrate on Monday granted 12 million TT dollars bail to two women who were among 4 people arrested in a multi-million-dollar drug bust last week. Magistrate Aidan Stood granted bail to Christiana Sanka and Yanis Pebbles Augustine when they reappeared in court jointly charged with Jovan Cole and Aruba Eligon. They were charged with possession of marijuana and cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. Sanka faced an additional charge of possession of a firearm and ammunition that were allegedly found in her apartment. The police seized several items, including 315 packages of marijuana weighing 191.66 kilograms with a street value of 3.4 million TT dollars and 1.04 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of 400,000 TT dollars. They also found a .38 revolver and ammunition during the raid on an apartment in the upscale community of Westmoreland last Tuesday. Now, when the accused appeared in court Monday, bail was again denied to Eligon and Cole. Eligon was denied because of his previous convictions for drug trafficking, while the police said Cole did not live in the two addresses he gave them. The raid, which led to the arrest of the four last week, was led by Police Commissioner Gary Griffith, who has come in for some praise from the private sector since his appointment 3 months ago. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is calling on opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday to say who paid for a trip he and members of the New Democratic Party, the NDP, made to China recently. The NDP has defended its decision to switch allegiance to China, insisting that if elected to office, it would manage its relationship with Beijing in such a way that it redounds to the long-term benefit of the country. But 2 years after the NDP announced the policy shift, there is still public interaction between parties, parliamentarians, and members of the Taiwan embassy. China regards Taiwan as a renegade province and has been calling on Caribbean countries to support its One China policy. Taiwan still maintains diplomatic relations with a handful of CARICOM countries, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines and St. Kitts and Nevis. Friday, who led a delegation to China, defended the future relationship with Beijing amid concerns that the island could be exploited. Now, speaking at the 23rd National Convention of his ruling United Labour Party on Sunday, Gonsalves told supporters that his administration is committed in its recognition of Taiwan and that the opposition leader must also disclose the cost of each airline ticket.
Tell me how much each ticket costs and who pay for it. The people in China pay for it. Or demand them, including people in China who want to sell our passport and our citizenship. Is them pay for you? Go to China? Tell us. Listen, a business class ticket to China. It is easy for you. Their passenger load is several tens of thousands of dollars. And they have to say, as a political party, they put you up for free. They're not government, you know, where you have state-to-state relations. Nobody asked that question. The journalists asked a lot of sensible questions, you know.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, West Indies go down to Bangladesh yet again. We'll have the details of the latest defeat after the break. Stay with us.
And you have on your website, you have a lot of information. Would you mind giving our audience that website so they can get information on injuries that are caused by lawnmowers?
One of the websites is ridinglawnmowerinjury.com, and another website is mowerlawyer.com.
We have the case that we're going to be talking about today concerns your client, Ethan.
Yes.
Next time on Coalition Corner, financing the response.
It is no surprise that
as you mentioned, about 75% regionally of the expenditure for the HIV response is from external sources.
But what will happen when external funds dry up?
The Global Fund or other multilaterals aren't just jumping up and leaving. To a large degree, many countries received adequate notice.
The question for us, where does the responsibility lie?
Don't miss the next Coalition Corner.
A change of format made little difference to West Indies' fortunes as another timid batting display sent them tumbling to a 5-wicket defeat in the opening day one-day international against Bangladesh on Sunday. Now choosing to bat first at the Sherry Bangla National Stadium, the visitors stumbled their way to an competitive 195 for 9 of their 50 overs, with opener Shea Hope top scoring with 43. West Indies were at snail's pace as they crawled to 79 for 3 at halfway stage of the innings, and they needed busy knocks from Kimo Paul, who got 36, and Roston Chase, who made 32, down the order to lift the tempo. But seamers Mashraf Murtaza and Mustafizur Rahman each took 3 wickets to keep the Windies in check, limiting them to their 4th lowest total against Bangladesh. In reply, Bangladesh overcame the loss of 2 early wickets to coast to their target in the 36th over, with wicketkeeper Mushfiqur Rahim stroking an unbeaten 55 and Litan Das gathering 41. Now, having suffered a 2-0 whitewash in the preceding Test series, West Indies are now staring at yet another series defeat, with the second ODI scheduled for Tuesday at the same venue. Still in cricket, West Indies have been confirmed to play in Ireland next summer as part of a major international men's schedule in which 16 international fixtures will be played. The Caribbean team will also compete in a one-day international tri-series with Ireland in Bangladesh. The Windies' last tour of Ireland was back in 2017, but a scheduled match at Stormont was abandoned without a ball being bowled. The first match between Ireland and the West Indies will bowl off on May 5th at Clontarf, just 2 days after the much-anticipated ODI against England, which takes place at Malahide. Now, Ireland will face the West Indies again on May 11th in Malahide, with 2 games against Bangladesh either side of that match. The top 2 sides in the ODI tri-series will then play the final on May 17th. Off-spinner Terence Ward snatched 2 wickets to spark a dramatic slide as Leeward Islands Hurricane stunned Barbados Pride, by 34 runs in their day-night opener of the Regional 4-Day Championship on Sunday night. Now chasing 170 for victory at the 3Ws Oval, Pride went to the first break on 82 for 4, but later lost their 6 wickets for 51 runs to be bowled out for 135. Captain Shamar Brooks top scored with 32, while wicketkeeper Tevin Walcott got 30 and veteran left-hander Jonathan Carter 24. Ward claimed 4 for 33, while West Indies seamer Alzari Joseph picked up 3 for 16 to finish with a 7-wicket match haul. Over at Grosile, left-arm spinner Veerasamy Permaul reached another landmark in his first-class career as Guyana Jaguars kicked off their bid for a 5th straight title with a 125-run victory over Windward Islands Volcanoes on the final day. Now resuming at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground on 54 for 2 in pursuit of an improbable 348 for victory, Volcanoes folded for 224 with 20-year-old left-hander Alec Athene stopped scoring with a patient unbeaten 64. Opener Tyreek Gabriel converted his overnight 33 into 57, while wicketkeeper Dennis Smith struck 38 and Kavim Hodge 32. Permaul snatched 3 for 56 to reach 450 first-class wickets, ending the contest with a 6-wicket haul. Fast bowlers Romaro Shepherd, Chris Barnwell and Clinton Pestano supported with 2 wickets each. And switching to football now, Jamaica's Reggae Girls have taken a huge leap up the FIFA rankings following their historic qualification for next year's World Cup.
The Reggae Girls' historic qualification to the World Cup continues to reap dividends came on Friday morning with the release of the December edition of the FIFA rankings. Jamaica made their highest ever jump after sealing victories over Costa Rica, Cuba and Panama in the CONCACAF Women's Championship in October. They've also moved from number 6 to number 5 in CONCACAF and are now the highest-ranked team from the Caribbean. Assistant coach of the senior reggae girls, Anja Price, has described Jamaica's rise in the rankings as a major achievement.
It's no small feat to be ranked at number 53 in the world. It's a major achievement coming from 87 prior to the CONCACAF championships. So it shows the big steps and gains that we have made, and we want to continue in the same vein.
The top 10 ranked teams in the world are world and CONCACAF champions in the United States, Germany, France, England, Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Brazil. Meanwhile, the draw for the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup will be conducted on Saturday in Paris at 12 noon Jamaica time. Jamaica is in pot 4 alongside Argentina, Chile, Nigeria, Cameroon, and South Africa. The Jamaican delegation at the draw is headed by JFF President Michael Ricketts. The team also includes head coach of the national senior team, Hugh Menzies, and team manager Jean Nelson. Former reggae girl Tashana Vincent has also been specially invited by the world governing body to watch the draw and promote the Women's World Cup under their recently unveiled initiative, the FIFA Women's World Cup Legends Program.
And that's the sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Exceptional fun, meet amazing people, enjoy fantastic food, and rock the nights away to world-class music at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 3 nights of musical entertainment from the 27th to the 29th of June 2019. Book now and save the date. For more information, log on to stkittsmusicfestival.net. St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Delivered a new song, her first in 5 years, for Thanksgiving weekend. Aptly titled Kelly, the trap-influenced track is an empowering ode to herself. Roland hasn't released new solo music since her 2013 album Talk a Good Game. Earlier this year, she featured on Busta Rhymes' Get It with Missy Elliott.
Again, the major developments of this day: a sick-out by teachers in Bermuda forces the closure of government schools. And in sport, West Indies go down to Bangladesh yet again, this time by 5 wickets in the opening ODI. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, subscribe to CaribNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. Join us again tomorrow, but from all of us here at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.